Welcome back to Random Talks with Rach. It's your host, Rachel Fleeman, aka Rach. I started a business in my parents' basement at 18 years old, and I'm now a 21-year-old shop owner who, like most all of us, is just trying to figure this whole life thing out, at least the best I can. Throughout this podcast, we'll be having lots of, random talks, from life lessons to personal growth to some business things here and there, and I assure you lots of other random things. I hope you give us, or should I say me, a listen and enjoy. Now let's get into this week's episode. Oh yeah, be sure to follow the podcast on all social media platforms to get a little behind the scenes of this wacky thing called life. Now let's get into this week's episode. Hello, and welcome back to Random Talks with Rach. I'm your host, Rachel Fleeman. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about things that have been making me really happy lately. These are just little things. I feel like the past few episodes have been kind of on a deeper level lately, which is great and all. I mean, healing and growing and all that is definitely something that's going to be a part of this podcast just because it's such a huge aspect of my life. But there's so much more to it. There's so much more to life than just that. And I talk a lot about gratitude on this episode or on this podcast, and I thought it'd be fun to kind of go into some things that have just been making me happy lately. I absolutely love watching these types of videos. I remember watching them like on YouTube, I just like fun things like that. Like, what are people into? What do people like? What do people don't like? All that kind of stuff. And I just thought this would be a fun little twist on that, just talking about some things that have been making me a little bit happier recently. And some of these are really little and some of them are a little bit on a deeper level. Not really, kind of. We'll see. We'll get into it and you'll see what I mean. But I did save the best one for last, the most important one for last. So you'll have to stay tuned to the end of the episode to hear that one. But without further ado, let's get into some things that have been making me happy recently. If you don't already, go ahead and follow the podcast on all social media platforms. If you're listening here on Spotify or Apple, go ahead and leave a 5-star review. And if you're listening and watching here on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe down below. It means the absolute world. And let me know in the comments, what are things that have been making you happy recently? Gratitude is such an important thing, and whether it's big or small, it could be as small as, I have shoes on my feet and I'm very grateful for that, or something as big as I'm going on this really cool ocean trip or something, I don't know, or whatever it might be. It could literally be something super big, something super small, just what is like your top 3 things that you're grateful for. I would love to know. But the first thing that's been making me really, really happy lately is finding little hobbies outside of work. It took me so long to find a work-life balance. Like, I genuinely think it took me like 2 years at least, like the first 2 years of my business, because my first year was just like business. I was trying to work. And then I got the storefront. So there's a lot the storefront definitely helped with the work-life balance because I had a time where I'd go home. But then I'd go home and I'd still do work at home. And I still do that sometimes. I have the store closed Sunday, Monday, and now Tuesdays for the summer. But Sundays are like my day off because otherwise I'm going to burn out. Mondays are usually like my get everything ready for the weekday. I usually record the podcast on this day. And now I've recently been taking Tuesdays off because I really have been struggling with creativity for content, and being able to just have an extra day where I know all the other work stuff is done and I can just have like free creativity with filming content has been so helpful. And I've definitely seen an improvement within my own personal creativity and all that stuff, which I absolutely love. But finding hobbies outside of work has been so important to me. And there's some little ones that I wrote down that I want to talk about that have been making me so happy lately. Last night, my sister and I went to play tennis at a local park. It was such a fun time. I am by no means a tennis player. She actually plays tennis for the school and stuff. But it was fun to go. We just went out and we just played for a bit. And it was so much fun just to have that fun time spending outside, but not only just like going on my walks, but also just actually doing something and with somebody I love. So that was so much fun. Another thing that's been making me happy lately within my hobbies has been playing the guitar. I got a guitar recently. I had a guitar when I was younger and I took lessons from my old music teacher, and then she moved to Colorado. So jealous of her. But she moved away and it was so sad, but then I stopped kind of taking lessons, and I have always loved it. I always loved acting like I was playing the guitar growing up. We had some paper guitars, if you remember those. They weren't actually made of paper, but they were really fun. We had a variety of those. We had like the Guitar Hero and like all that stuff. And then I got my first guitar It was like a small one, and then I got a bigger one when I started taking lessons, and then I still have that one, I think. Then we got a Dr. Pepper guitar. My mom won a Dr. Pepper guitar through some raffle, and at the time, I wasn't as obsessed with Dr. Pepper as I am now, and we ended up selling it, and I regret it almost every single day. Like, why did we sell that? We sold it for quite a lot, but why did we sell it? Anywho, so I decided, like, what was it? A few months ago, I was like, you know what? I really want to buy a guitar. I bought a banjo on a whim, like, a year ago or so. I know how to play one song. It's Jingle Bells. And then it hangs on my wall. It's really cute. It fits the vibe of my room. But I have not picked it up since. I have a ukulele. I used to play that all the time. So I love stuff like that, but I wanted to get a guitar, not only because I used to play it and I love it, but also because I want to play the banjo more, but the banjo's a lot of picking and I'm not the best at that. So I need to learn how to kind of like slowly get into it, but I've started playing it a lot recently and I have absolutely just loved it. It's such a fun little peaceful time, and I teach myself all these songs that I already love, and it's just a fun little thing that makes me happy every single time I do it. Another hobby that I've gotten back into recently is reading on my Kindle and just also like paper books. I have gone back and forth between it, but I pay for Kindle Unlimited, and I'm like, okay, you can't be paying this much a month to not read any books. Like, the point is to save yourself money on books, because I used to spend so much money. I would buy a lot of books at Barnes & Noble. There was like a period of time where I'd go quite often and I just spend a lot of money on books, and then I like read them and then they just sit there and take up space and all that. So I got the Kindle, and I think the Kindle's like, what, $12 a month for unlimited or whatever, but I've been reading a lot more, which has been so nice. I do it instead of going on my phone at night. I'll have a show usually on, but then I kind of like read it, or I'll read it before I put the show on or whatever. It's just a nice way to unwind and then also to start your day. I've been picking up the Kindle before instead of picking up my phone right away, read my Kindle and then go on my walk, make my breakfast, all that fun stuff. Another thing that I'm so excited is back in season. We have already been to quite a few, probably at least a handful of them, but it's baseball games. I love baseball games. They're so peaceful to me. They're so fun to watch. The vibe, the ambiance, it's all there. It is so much fun. The first game of the season, my friend and I did a little road trip to go see the Kansas City Royals. Those are our favorites. It's not a far drive, so we road trip there, did that for a day. It was so much fun. Local, smaller baseball team. And so I've been going to so many of their games. There's one up and about an hour away from here that my friend goes to a lot. And then we've been trying to plan more. But I was just there like Monday night. But I love going to baseball games. It is so much fun. It's so relaxing. It's something that I even would do by myself. Like, just go hang out at the ballpark and have a relaxing little evening. Something else that I have been absolutely loving that's been making me so happy is making feel-good food. So I have been on this weird, I'm not an expert by any means, but this, like, I'm trying to eat as much protein as possible. I was seeing this girl on TikTok. I don't know her name exactly, but she pops up on my page every now and then. And she's talking about the importance for women to have a high protein diet. And like, there's so much more to it than just if you're like trying to like, obviously like work out and get in shape in that way, but there's so much more to it within your health and your hormones and all that stuff. And so trying to eat a high protein diet, and I've been figuring out and playing around with food. She makes some recipes, so I've been making some of those, and it's just been so much fun, and it makes me feel so good. It's nice to not, like, I honestly crave some of my high protein meals over going to eat fast food. For me, that's weird, because I used to eat Taco Bell like every other day. I used to eat fast food way more than I would cook any meal or eat any home cooked meal. And honestly, it's better for my bank account. It's better for myself. And it's something overall that I have been really enjoying. So just finding those high protein meals, I can make a video kind of describing what I know. Again, I'm not an expert, so I don't know everything about it, but kind of just sharing what I've been doing and recipes that I've been making and stuff. If you guys would be interested in that, it'd probably be posted on one of my main accounts. But yeah, it's just something that I've been loving to do recently. Another thing, and this I haven't fully done, but if you know me, my favorite animal is a moose, and I am obsessed with butterflies. Butterflies are like my grandma's symbol. My grandma passed away in 2020, and it's like her symbol to me. I've always loved butterflies before then. I have a really cool story about a butterfly being sent to me that I don't think I've told you guys. I'll have to tell you that in another episode, but everybody says it was sent from my grandma, and it's just such a weird story, but it is such a cool, like, God moment. It's crazy to me. I saw this girl, her name's Shark Girl, on TikTok, and she started raising butterflies, basically. Not raising them, but like I don't know, she gets like milkweed and like it started an accident and now she like has all these monarchs and then she sets them free. Basically, she raises butterflies and then she sets them free. And it is the coolest thing ever. So I got some milkweed, I planted it, and I'm trying so hard. There's a lot of other butterflies, but specifically monarchs are like my all-time favorite. I remember at the zoo, one of our local zoos has like a movie theater. It's like an IMAX movie theater, and they did 3D movies, and they have like 3 that they play every single year. And one year, one of the movies was this butterfly movie, and it was the coolest thing ever. Butterflies are endangered, or monarch butterflies are actually endangered. And so it was kind of like spreading awareness about that, and it was talking about this dude who like chased it. It was such a cool movie, and it was in 3D, so it was so cool because the butterflies were like coming at you. That was definitely a core moment for me. I've been trying to kind of just like do that. I remember when I was younger, my mom bought this like butterfly thing, and we got to like, it came in like this little container, and then like we got to like raise the little butterflies and then set them free. But yeah, so I've been doing that. I have like this, I'm trying to build this like butterfly garden. I don't fully know exactly what I'm doing with it, but it makes me happy, and it's just something that I look forward to. The last little hobby I've been doing that's been making me happy outside of work has been my morning walks. I talk about my morning walks all the stinking time, but not necessarily morning. Sometimes I'll do them after I get off work. Like yesterday, I didn't do one in the morning. I did it when I got off work, and then we went to play tennis, like I said. But just a walk a day. Something else that has been making me happy, I have been doing this again every single morning, it's future dreaming. If you don't future dream, what are you doing? Seriously, I was just talking about this with my cousin the other day. Every single morning I go on Pinterest and I will scroll, and I have like boards that are like what I want my future to look like, what I know my future is going to look like. You got to manifest it. You truly got to manifest it. So I will go and I'll just scroll and I'll like add things to my boards, or I'll look at my boards, and it puts me in this like motivated mindset of like, okay, we're going to get work done because that's what we're working towards. It puts like a picture in your head of what you're working towards, and it helps. And I just love future dreaming. I've always been that way. I've always been the one who kind of like is like, yeah, that's mine. And once you like do it enough, it's not like out of reach anymore. It's like, it's already in your life. You're just waiting for it to like fully be in your life. That's the way I view it, at least. And you got to be a little delulu. Something else that has been making me so happy recently is definitely camping. We do this quite often, but we've been doing it a lot more recently. I mean, we've been out a few times, but camping in a tent, I will tell you right now, I get the best sleep of my life when I sleep in a tent. I don't know what it is. I truly don't, but sleeping in a tent, I get the best sleep of my life. And we're actually going camping again this weekend. So excited. I just feel like the vibes are there. It is so much stinking fun. Something else that has been making me really happy recently is finding myself again. I feel like I've been in this era recently where I've been truly finding myself, putting myself first, learning more about myself, and just kind of diving into all that. I've been taking you guys along it, as you know, with all the previous episodes. And it's a lot of healing. It's a lot of growth. It's a lot of realizations and a lot of things. And it's just been making me so happy to just figure out what I love to do, figure out what I want, my goals, my dreams, and actually chasing them for me and not for somebody else. And of course, another thing that makes me happy is recording this podcast. This has been truly such a fun outlet for me that I've truly, truly enjoyed, and I wouldn't change it for the world. That's kind of a given though, so I'm not going to dive too deep into that. There will be an episode eventually that'll kind of talk about why I rebranded and the more like deeper meaning of it all. But yeah, this podcast obviously has been something that has been making me so stinking happy. Planning trips big and small. Oh my gosh, we have so many fun trips planned. Again, big and small. Some are like bigger, but they're just weekend trips. Some are bigger that are actually like week trips. It's been making me so happy. Even just like a day trip, like 3 hours away or whatever. It's so much fun. I just feel like there's so much to see and so much to do. And now that people have a little bit more free time, we're able to go do that because it's summer. And I told you the last one is going to be the most important one, but that's spending time with family and friends. That has been truly, like I said, filling my cup up. It's been making my heart so happy, just getting closer with them. And I don't know, family and friends have been a rock in so many different things, and being able to spend all the quality time with them, go to games, go do activities with them, or just even just hang around has been so important to me, and it's been making my heart so happy. So that is definitely the number one thing. I think a life lesson we've all learned is life is short, so you got to soak in all the moments. And I don't know, I feel like it's just important to spend time with the ones you love. So that's something that's been making me so happy. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It's kind of a random episode. And I would love to know some things that have been making you happy recently. So please comment below if you're watching on YouTube, or even message me on Instagram. I just want to know, what are some things that have been making you happy recently. But yeah, like I said, follow the podcast on all social media platforms. that is going to be all for this week. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you later.